Yeah.
Which one? Doesn't matter.
They're both me. I'm a faggot retard, dude. So I don't know, man. Is it time to just start shooting people and burning down neighborhoods? We're getting to the end of 2020 and I still haven't come yet. And 2020 hasn't brought in like the ending, right? They haven't finished me off. They've been tickling my balls they've been knuckle deep in my asshole for 12 months and they have yet. Where's the big one? What is it? UFOs, Bigfoot, Loch Ness monster.
Still got 20 plus days left.
That's true. Do you think
making on the volcano, super volcano?
Ooh, that's a strong bet. Yeah. Yellowstone.
Yep, that would fuck everything up.
Hey, do you like my Bob Lazar sweatshirt? It's got Bob Lazar and UFOs and shit. I made this, and I'm clearly just fishing for compliments. So indulge my ego.
You made that?
I did. Actually, I did. I made the design, and that's
pretty cool.
Yeah, the pocket is the 1947 newspaper from Roswell.
Nice.
So you can read the. But clearly, I have nothing to talk about but myself, so you're gonna go down that road again. JP, what the fuck's been up, man?
A whole lot of nothing, man. A whole lot of video gaming and job searching. But
sounds pretty gay.
Me too.
Yeah,
that's all I do.
Yeah, so it fucking sucks. Being unemployed sucks. And I feel bad for anybody else in the same position as I am. Rob, if I'm not mistaken, you've been in the position that I'm in for a lot longer, so I really have no room to fucking talk. But
no, I mean, yeah, it sucks, but it's like, I don't know, it's survivable at the moment, so it's all right. You know what I mean?
Well, that's good to hear. Yeah.
So is it time to start selling crack? You guys want to start slinging rock?
I don't want to dip right into crack. I want to kind of like ease into it. Yeah.
So what would that be? Would that even be marijuana, or would you start with just like alcohol, like a Hey Mister in Atlanta? Because we used to do, Hey Mister, $20.
Yeah, maybe.
Is that the start? Is that how you dip your toes into the underworld? It starts with a Hey Mister. It starts with a Hey Mister and it ends with you taking a duffel bag of cash to shoot the president in Dealey Plaza.
Jesus Christ.
Well, for anybody listening, these are my friends Rob and JP, and so in the last week, my new obsession is the idea that Hitler did not kill himself, and that the Nazis fled to Antarctica, not even Argentina, like an actual, because that's where they found Mengele and Adolf Eichmann, which is a fact. That's where the Mossad found them. But no, I'm now going balls deep in that they escaped to Antarctica, and that's where the Fourth Reich is. So that's where my mental state is right now. And
it's where Hydra is.
Hydra, I don't know. I haven't pieced that together yet, but I'm actually. But the thing is the head of the German Navy. This has got to be a record. We're 3.5 minutes in and we're already on Nazis. But the head of the German Navy, who was Hitler's successor, Admiral Dönitz, he actually took an expedition of U-boats to Antarctica in 1938 and 1943, and said some really weird shit. Like, we found an impregnable fortress for the Fuhrer. We have found a paradise on Earth in Antarctica. That's a little weird. I mean, the Nazis were weird, but
like subterranean, like under the ice and shit.
I don't know, but I do know that he didn't specify that. But I do know that America went down in 1947, Operation High Jump, under Admiral Byrd, and we went down there with like 10,000 troops and a couple aircraft carriers, which is a little weird. That, we were like, we're going down on an expedition, but we brought like a Normandy invasion force, which is kind of weird. And yeah, and in 1943, Bormann was stowing away billions of dollars of Nazi funds and investing it. It was called Operation Avalon. It's where they invested it in American pharmaceutical and defense industries, as well as I think 13 other countries across Europe. so as to lay down their funds to set up the groundwork for a Fourth Reich when it was safe for them to sort of show their heads again.
Operation Avalon?
Operation Avalon, yeah. Which was what the Fourth Reich was supposed to be. And we know their best of the best ended up in America under Operation Paperclip.
Yep. I was going to bring that up.
Yeah, and it's a... so that's where I am. That's where I am
Truth is stranger than
now.
fiction, man. I'm telling you. That's
where I am mentally.
Been a recurring theme.
Yeah. So that's where I am mentally right now, is that the Nazis escaped to Antarctica, and anyone who opposes that viewpoint is fake news, and you're part of the conspiracy.
So are they just pulling like an Emperor Palpatine, like slowly just on life support, just building their whole armada?
Yeah.
Some shit?
That's what I think. It's more like Hydra from Captain America. I think they infiltrated the U.S. via Operation Paperclip, and they were smart though. Instead of coming out and dropping Nazi flags, they just laid low, and they're operating from within. And they've been operating from within since 1945, and we're in the Fourth Reich. Granted, I don't actually believe that, but that's my favorite idea. That's my favorite conspiracy. That's the sexiest one. So you guys going to talk, or am I just going to go talk about Nazis by myself? Fuck both of you.
Follow that
podcast. Yeah.
Fuck both of you. Fuck both of you.
Fucking, Hail Hydra and shit. I don't fucking know.
If that's the case, then that's one thing I think about with these fantastic conspiracies is A, that's probably not true, and B, if it's true, that means they're that competent. What the fuck am I gonna do?
Jack shit.
Yeah. Yeah, right?
I mean, yeah. I don't know if they were that competent. That's the thing.
That's the thing.
I think they got lucky a lot of the time in World War II, to get as far as they got.
They got really lucky.
I don't think they were that,
No, I don't think they did either. I think they all died in that fucking bunker.
I was just watching the fucking World War II in color or whatever, and it's there was a point.
Rob, please don't bring race into this.
Where they complete color across the board.
Representation. Yeah.
During the Blitzkrieg into France, they had surveillance, because the Blitzkrieg was new.
Mm-hmm.
It was new warfare technique, and they flew surveillance planes, and were for some reason there's this gigantic line of German tanks and artillery and shit making a beeline right in a direct line, something that had never been heard of, right? Yeah, and the French are no, that's impossible. Fuck off, that's impossible. Had they have just been all right, let's send a couple bombers that way, that's it. The war was over. They wouldn't have entered France.
Oh yeah.
It was so stupid.
They said the biggest traffic jam in European history was the day leading up to the Blitzkrieg, because they had all the Germans just right there. Right. And it was a black.
One guy in a plane is
it was
wait a second.
It was Black
Something
Friday.
looks out of place right now.
Yeah, it was Black Friday. They were all outside the door,
literally,
just ready to go.
All here for free France.
Fucking yeah, exactly. 80% off Sudetenland in living space. Yeah, 80% off Lebensraum and Sudetenland. We're gonna be the first to get it, and yeah. But no, you're right. No one believed it, because not only that, but I think the French generals were it sounds like disinformation, because they're who would? They're driving at us firing during the night when no one's around. They're firing at farmhouses, and they're that doesn't make sense.
French at that time had a better army,
yeah,
trained and all that than the Germans had at that time, right?
It helps that they had their own funded armies and militaries too.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's in Norman Ohler's book Blitz. They talk about how the tanks were just driving at full speed around the clock. He said they never stopped firing their guns. So, but you got to think about it. He's no, they just fired them around the clock, and then they would have they'd have other things drive up next to them and offload like big bladders of like fuel and munitions onto them, so the tanks never actually stopped. And they would just have these things drive up and like dump shit off to them. So you just got to imagine that imagery is like somewhere at some point in time, if you could go back in time and look at it, at some point they were just driving over like a field at like 2 a.m. with no towns for like 100 miles, but they were just
high as fuck
on meth and just letting, and the machine guns just tearing and firing at no one.
Nothing. So just cover fire.
So at night, there was just this line of like lights. And like, what are they doing?
Tracers and shit.
Yeah, just tracers, shells flying, nothing. You know, there was just some farmer out there just looking at it in the distance, like, what the fuck is that? Yeah.
And within 48 hours, he probably got an idea of what the fuck it was.
Within 48 hours, he understood that he got vibe checked. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't think. I didn't know this. Did you know the Blitzkrieg wasn't actually planned as a Blitzkrieg? It was more so in hindsight. They realized it was a Blitzkrieg. Like, it wasn't like a let's go do this. It was, a lot of them, it was the first time they'd ever taken Pervitin, which was their pill form of meth. And it was kind of in hindsight, they're like, what did we just do? And they were like, so they called it the Blitzkrieg, but it wasn't like consciously a Blitzkrieg.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that the fucking Nazis took meth or whatever the fuck. But
Pervitin, yeah. It was actually really common in
Germany.
Society.
Yeah.
No shit.
At the time.
Wow.
Like, so, yeah.
Which is crazy because it wasn't...
Like, as a stimulant, right? You know?
Right, but which is crazy because it wasn't Hitler kind of like... Oh, maybe that kind of falls in line, but wasn't he kind of like against that shit and like wanted like social like norms instilled and whatnot? And,
well, that was the beautiful propaganda hypocrisy.
Exactly.
Is he was like, I am of like unassailable character, and I do nothing. I do not even smoke. He allegedly threw his last pack of cigarettes into the river after World War I. Like, I am done. No, man. Dude was taking intravenous injections of meth, oxycodone, glucose. Dude, I had on the author, JP, I'm going to send you the book, Blitzed, by Norman Ohler. It's about all the drugs Hitler did. He made Hunter S. Thompson look like a pussy. I'm not kidding.
Like, all those dictators did.
I'm
like,
sure.
Lenin was the same. It was like, it was more about maintaining an image of like, I'm the hero.
Yes.
I'm the best. Like, that's what it's about. It's like,
I mean, I guess to be that fucking ballsy and like, you know how like fantastic the German like mechanized army needed to be, like it was always overblown and like huge and shit. Like, I guess that makes sense.
No, it's once you realize how much meth he was on, everything makes sense. He was like, we're gonna build a new German capital, like Germania, and it's gonna have a dome that was like bigger than like Atlanta, not bigger than the Georgia Dome. It was like bigger than Atlanta,
the city of Atlanta, right?
Yeah,
I believe it.
Yeah, no, they had all these plans for this shit. They wanted to lay down their own railway, not like new trains, but like a new train system. The rails would have been like 3 times like farther apart, and it would have been a much bigger gauge, and because they wanted this just whole train system of like, I'm not kidding, like triple decker trains, like twice as wide as a normal. Yeah, which is a cool idea. I mean, it's like, man, they're terrible, but those trains could have been dope, you know. But like, no, dude, they wanted all that shit, and Hitler was doing speedballs before that was the name. Like, not kidding, he was doing speedballs. He breathing pure oxygen, taking intravenous shit. His doctor Theodor Morel would just make up concoctions. I'm not like, he would get like ground testicle of bulls, mix it with acid, put in like a mint leaf and some like vitamin B, and would be like, this is, he would just call things like he would call them Vitamoltin Forte, which was just like, you know, was just like proprietary blend. He would just make shit up.
Like,
I wish I could be a fly in the wall. Like, fly on the wall when he's thinking up that concoction, like, oh yeah, we'll just put in a dash of mint leaf, like it's a fucking cooking show, you know, nowadays, like for pizzazz or some shit. I don't fucking know, but yeah,
it was a weird time, especially for like science, because they knew that like antibiotics worked, but like we didn't know like to what degree, why they were working and certain things. So there was still like this like alchemy, like, you know what I mean?
Oh,
it's
and I've heard about that shit too. Like, you know, looking for the fountain of youth and whatnot.
Exactly. Like,
it was
weird times.
Yeah, it was insane times.
Like, if you think about it, like, okay, like, I know World War II didn't get started until, like, the 40s, but those people that started it had been alive, most of them, for, like, the beginning of the 20th century, right? So...
Right, World War One, yeah.
Rasputin existed in that time.
Yeah.
Like, think of it, it's not that fucking far away. And he was, like, this weird mystic, like, priest guy who was like, you know, I can cure hemophilia because, like, you know what I mean?
Just cause.
Yeah, just cause.
Yeah, I can do it. Why? Oh, well, that's enough for me.
That shit, and that shit was only, like, not, like, now, like, 120 years ago. Yeah, not even. I think Rasputin was killed in, like, 1905 or something.
Yeah, it is weird to think about, like, just how far, like, I was actually thinking about this yesterday. It was, like, just how, like, really just how old World War II, like, was. Like, it's a lot of it's easy to look at because it's like aircraft and radios and guns, and it's like, that's what it is now. But it's like
the first time any of that was really implemented.
Well, it was
like warfare.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think the end of World War II to the beginning of Vietnam was a greater period of time by 1 year than it is from 9/11 till now. Like, I'm just thinking about just those gaps in time. Like, it was a long fucking time ago, and so a lot of it was just black magic. It was just like
and the technological leaps that they took in that, you know, that long span of time compared to, like, you know, cell phones updating every fucking couple seasons, right? It's just, it's fucking insane to think of that shit.
It's that got me thinking though, is like, and I had my buddy Trey Carney from Pius, he came on here and we were talking about it. Doesn't it seem like the rate of, like, technological growth on the surface, it seems like it's faster and faster, but, like, the more I look at it, the more it seems like it's actually slowing down. Just like a simple example, like, it takes the same amount of time to fly between Atlanta and New York as it did during the JFK administration. Like, that's not changing. Like, sure, better seats and there's Wi-Fi and our phones are faster, but I mean, like, these big jumps in, like, your life, like, it seems like we're fine tuning, like, the periphery, like more memory in the computer, faster Xbox, like a 4K TV, but, like, in terms of the actual sort of paradigm shifting, like, I don't know.
Well, it's because we know how to make shit smaller and more efficient, but we don't know how to get enough energy to it yet. I think that's the big thing. Is like, right now we're so focused on how to make shit efficient, how to pull as much efficiency out of the energy we got. Like, look at the new, like, consoles. Like, those things. Remember when we used to have consoles and they used to have those big fucking bricks? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, the way that they have figured out how to transfer energy and use energy that is given, because our infrastructure hasn't changed. Like, the plug is still the fucking plug that we were born with, more or less. Right. Like, I'm sure at the power plants and shit, they're using more. Like, not everything is analog, right? Yeah. Obviously, it's more digital, but it's still, energy is just, electricity is electricity. Okay. But it's just how it's being used in the things. But the problem is, that's all we've got right now. Is that amount of electricity and that amount of power. So if only everybody has X amount of power to play with, then you still limited our, so for example, jet fuel, right? And then you have to factor in price, right? So, like, what's most efficient to use to get people from New York to Atlanta in less than an hour?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah. So, like, right now, like last time we were talking about the Japanese new maglev trains that are going to be able to reduce what would be a 5.5 hour highway drive into a sub 45-minute trip.
Train ride, right.
Yeah. At 500 kilometers an hour, right? You know what I mean? But it's just like magnets. Like, that's it. Right. It's just turn them off and turn them on. It's an efficient use of energy. That's it.
I think, and I think that's probably why we've kind of plateaued in that regard, is that we're trying to figure out different ways, you know, to create, like, you know, kinetic energy and all this other stuff that can be transformed to fuel everything. Now,
this podcast sponsored by
Bayer.
This podcast
we need to improve Bayer.
This podcast
to just stop heart attacks before they even start.
Podcast sponsored by aspirin. But sorry, JP, I interrupted you.
No, you're fine. But you know, the question is, though, I don't think that a whole lot of people are necessarily focusing. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think a whole lot of people are necessarily focusing on that in particular, just because we have kind of reached that, that roadblock. And I think they're starting to look at different ways to kind of expand like human consciousness and stuff, like, because I read something not long ago about like basically, the Futurama, how they had like Nixon's head in a jar, They're trying to basically do that, like preserve, life and stuff. Like I know Israel has a huge fucking like funding. Yeah, they have like a huge funding for this program of like cryogenic freezing and whatnot, and like there's people that sign up for it, and they're like, oh, I have an IQ of like 140 or whatever the fuck, and I think my mind should be preserved in the case that I die suddenly or whatever the fuck, and they fucking sign up. They're like, yeah, I'll fucking put myself up for cryogenic testing and whatnot. So it's fucking insane.
It's funny though, because if you follow like our human history, like IQs don't like correlate. Like if you get frozen, right? It's gonna be like, it's not gonna be like what the fuck was it? What's that movie? Fucking where the guy's like frozen and then he wakes
Idiocracy.
up. Idiocracy, right? It's not going to be like Idiocracy. It's going to be more like the opposite, I think.
Yeah,
because like imagine if you were
stuck
like
in this old world,
right? Like
yeah.
It's like you'd be like if you were frozen in the 30s and then you came back now, you would kind of understand the world. But holy fuck, like there would be so much.
Yeah,
you would have to sit there and just be told a bunch of shit just to catch up.
Yeah,
Einstein would become like a porn junkie and shit.
So. Yeah, it wouldn't help if like George Washington came back and we're like, hell yeah, we have George Washington's leadership, and he walks outside and he's like, where's that black man's owner? You'd be like, fuck. Like, you'd be like, shit. All right, you know what? Maybe we got some catching up to do. Yeah, so it doesn't exactly like, it's not like a processing unit and you froze it and then you're bringing it back online. Maybe.
Well, that's the thing. We do that. Like when we look at people from the past, when we bring them and try to like compare them to nowadays, it's like it's stupid to even try.
Yeah.
It's like bringing back the first like Formula One drivers ever and sticking them in a Formula One. Like, dude, there's motherfucking kids that play PlayStation that are better drivers than them now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they literally put in more track time because they fucking sit there every day. Right?
Yeah.
It's not the same. It's just what they had available, the technology they had available.
Rob? Did we lose Rob? Speaking of technology we have available, Rob has been frozen in space-time, so it's just JP and I now. Rest in peace, Rob. It was great, but it's over.
I wonder if his internet cut out again. That would fucking suck. But...
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what happened last time.
Oh, yeah. Rob? Speaking of...
Shitty.
Well, you know what? That's the way the cookie crumbles. Well, we now know that Canada has been hit by the first warhead, which means that JP and I have probably, a good 60 seconds, maybe 90 seconds?
I don't know, man. I'm located in an area with a lot of military, so I'm pretty sure we're probably high on the fucking target list. But
Rob says internet died. No worries. Come on back.
No, he's gonna
He's gonna come back.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, that's yeah, I'm still like not. I get what he was saying about like electricity and like, but I don't know. Part of me seems like advances is slowed, and like I'm not saying this from like an unbiased, objective viewpoint. I'm clearly like I'm laying the groundwork for like a conspiracy, and I'm like, all right, well, where is the advancements? Like, this isn't like an intellectual discussion for anyone listening. Like, it's tune out now if you're hoping to learn. But if you want to learn about the truth, stay tuned. Yeah. But it kind of right. It seemed like I feel like that advancement's still happening somewhere. This is one thing I was thinking. Right. So like we know the military is, let's just say 20 years ahead. Just aviation computing 20, 30 years ahead. Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Real big edge on everybody. And that's how you keep a power. That's how you stay in power. Is like. Well, if it was truly staying in power, and it was like nefarious, right? So it wasn't just like we got to have the stealth bomber or hypersonics, and then it can trickle down to everyday society, because by the time it trickles down, we'll be the next thing up, right? That's like a fair and just leadership, where it's just like they have to have an edge. But what if it was like an evil leadership? What if they were like, hey, we want to make sure that we're always completely ahead of the populace? But what if you just stopped declassifying shit? What if you just didn't let stealth trickle down? What if you just didn't let, like the space age, a lot of that trickled down? But what if you just stopped trickling down, period, so there's no hope of them ever revolting? So like the equivalent would be like if between World War I and World War II, only the elite advanced. So if there ever was a war, it'd still be a bunch of guys on horses in World War I with like biplanes, but then a bunch of P-51 Mustangs and ME-262 Messerschmitts come out, right? Or you should keep extrapolating it to where they go ahead. Do you think there's any? Do you think there's any? I mean, do you see what I'm saying? Like, obviously, it's pure conspiracy. As I'm wearing my Paul Lazar shirt. Like,
I mean, so like, what are you asking me in general? Like, do I believe in this, or do
it's one of my favorite conspiracy ideas of the breakaway civilization.
Yeah, and I absolutely. I mean,
fuck yeah.
You pretty much just put to words what I've always thought to begin with, anyways.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, it's no doubt that like I already know that they're trying to move really hard about AI and machine learning.
Yeah,
and like it's like we talk about the same topics, but like they're pushing that so fucking hard. There's no way they're going to allow just the general populace to have access to that. Like they're painting it nice, right? Oh, you can have some fucking AI wish you good morning.
You have an AI, it could really help you with your finances.
You can tell you, hey, you have a meeting at 10 o'clock with so and so from this, and blah 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 blah. Don't forget your doctor's appointment by 2 p.m. and all this other shit. And
no, what it is it's God tier technology watching and predicting your movements. That's what it is.
Right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Welcome back, Rob.
Oh, welcome back, Rob. Glad you could fucking join us, man. Yeah.
Piece of shit.
Exactly. Well, you've only been gone for a minute, but we're already on the breakaway civilization and AI, so jump on in. We were saying what if technology kept advancing, but instead of trickling down and declassifying stuff over the years, what if they never declassified? So it'd be like the rest of the world is still stuck in World War II, and then they kept advancing at the same rate. So like, we went to the moon in 1969. It's like we went from 1902 Kitty Hawk to the moon in 1969. It's like, what if that rate didn't slow down, but they're just not sharing it anymore, right? We're all on Ataris and they're on PS5. That's what I mean. And they've stopped declassifying.
I mean, a lot of people, we are still on Ataris and they're on PS5 because like PS5 is like an Atari. Like if you wanted to like just to get a PC, if you wanted to like fucking throw down real bucks to get like a good like you know what I mean, you could spend unlimited amounts of money on processing.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's like we kind of are peasants, you know what I mean, already.
But that's what I mean is like, so yeah, you're right. You can make a PS5 or an Xbox Series X. You can make those look like pieces of shit today. Like my friends, my Matt Walker, like my best friend, his gaming computer right now, not even like, hey Matt, jack it up. If I just went over there right now, I guarantee you that would look better than a brand new Xbox Series X.
Easily.
It's already at 8K. He has 8K monitors. It's like 240 FPS. There's no lag time. Everything is rendered at full distance, like full physics, everything turned up. And it's just, he hasn't even probably added anything new in 2020. It's
right. Last year's tech. Or
yeah, exactly. Exactly. So that's what I mean is like, but we normally always see this sort of like trickle down, right? It's like first you have first it's like satellites, and then it's like the peons get GPS. Like, but what if they just stopped letting it trickle down, period? And it was just so we're advancing at the periphery. Like the iPhone now, it's got 16 gigs of RAM. Like, but meanwhile they've made the same jump between Kitty Hawk and the moon from the moon and now. Like they're
basically like that's grounds for technocracy to fucking sprout up, right?
I was actually reading, because I'm normal. I was reading Eisenhower's transcript last night of the military-industrial complex, and that part
totally normal.
Yeah, fuck you. The part
light time reading. Light reading for the night. Yeah.
But there was a part that I had never read before. I'd always just heard the person deleted it. There was a thread on Reddit. I was going to pull it up and be like, let me tell you that they deleted it. Who the fuck deletes a comment about that? But
like Reddit.
Yeah. Deletes their shit on Reddit.
Probably a technocratic elite. That's who. It's a fucking technocratic. But that's what Eisenhower was saying. Even aside from in the councils of government, like aside from that, he was saying like you got to beware of like a technocratic elite. Like you can, I think the quote was like, you can like, it is no longer tinkerers in their garage inventing. It's military funded labs moving ahead, and they are becoming the elite through technology, right? If everyone else is a caveman with a club, but I've got an AR-15 with a thermal scope, like I win. Like I win the jungle. It's mine. You can't do anything. Mm-hmm. And not only that, once you start building your own muskets and I see that you're slowly like 300 years behind me, I'm going to use my thermal to kill you and then go destroy your base.
Your shit, right.
And then in 20 years, when you get back to it, I'll do it again.
That's warfare 101. And honestly, like, I think there's credence to that, but on the other side of the coin, like we have been fighting wars with fucking cave people for the last 20 fucking years.
Right, and losing. We're already there.
And losing.
Right,
and losing.
Yeah. Like, so, and don't get me wrong, like I'm not saying that you don't have a point, Tommy, but you know, never doubt people being backed into a fucking corner. So,
no, an animal with nowhere to go.
Right.
Gets vicious. But there's also this like weird caveat with that, because that does get brought up a lot, right? Like, yeah, well, that's my favorite argument against people like, you really need to own a gun. You think you're going to fight the U.S. government? I'm like, dog, we lost Vietnam. And I would say that we're probably not winning in Iraq. I don't think it can be won. So yeah, I am. But you got to think, so why is that though? Because if we truly want, so the question must be posed, if we truly wanted them all dead, could we have them dead? Yes. Big old thermonuclear warhead, a couple of them coming in from orbit at re-entry speeds. So why don't we do that? So there's this weird caveat. It's not that the cave people beat us so much as no one wants to rule over a cinder. We want the resources. That's war. Right. Yeah. So like thermonuclear warfare, it kind of like bites itself in the ass, because you're not going to go nuke this land because you want to go in and get the precious metals, the ore. So it's the lumber, all that shit. Yeah, it's a weird thing, but that's what I was thinking.
That's based on greed, though. That's what it is. It's like, well, there's money to be made here, so why would we do that? Yeah, like it would just be a loss in the investment. Now you've just spent countless amount of taxpayer dollars sending people over there and shit, and now you can't even fucking reap the benefits of it. There's no spoils to take.
So that's like a weird, but that's one thing I've thought is like, I remember thinking that, again, normal thought. I remember like in like, I think it was like maybe in high school. It was right when I started reading about like the technological singularity and the exponential gains. I was thinking like, there's always this, empires rise and empires fall. Like America is no different. Like, sure, absolutely. But we're also no different in that, and it's not necessarily America, but it's just whoever is at the top right now. As technology accelerates at advances at an ever accelerating rate, you're going to get to a point where you are pulling ahead so much faster than everyone that sure, they'll be where you are next year, but as you get farther ahead in bigger leaps and bounds, and it's not just that you have a better thermal scope, now all of a sudden you have, I don't know, a JDAM. You can pull ahead to a point, right? You're the racehorse. You're the leading horse. You're pulling ahead so quickly because right now, if you're the lead guy in the race, you can kind of push people back a little bit, but not a whole lot. You still got to keep the lead. If you can get so far ahead where all of a sudden, just like that, you're ahead 200 yards, you now have time to, I don't know, build a barrier to where they can't get up to you. So it's like whoever starts to jump ahead faster can turn around and essentially just halt the rest of the world and then they win. There are no more rise and falls of empires. It's whoever gets that far ahead now wins. Does that make sense?
But that's always the way it's been. Like, if you look at when we were just people in caves, okay, the first person who made this sword steel and not out of iron, or you know what I mean? Not out of iron and not out of wood or whatever, fucking started winning more. And the more they won, the more they wanted to win. And the more they propagated their technology in order to win. But eventually that technology leaks out somewhere else. Like, there's no... And then eventually that technology gets so... Like, it's almost like the shit about, like, people went to the moon in the 50s, but some of that technology has been lost to time. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
The F1
like,
engines, yeah.
Yeah, they don't know how.
They don't know how to make them.
Do that shit again.
Yeah.
Like, isn't that fucking weird though? Like, doesn't that strike anybody as odd? Like, because even though they had that technology, because it wasn't propagated more, it was actually lost.
Yeah, that is a weird one, that we don't know how to build the F1 engines.
Right, and like, how many other things are there throughout history that are like that? Right, like the other one comes to mind is like Greek fire, right? That like basically napalm in pre-industrial age. So
yeah,
it's crazy.
I don't know.
Maybe it's. I think technological advancement has a role to play with that too, though, because you phase shit out. Like, who's gonna want the fucking Motorola Razr phone when you can get an iPhone, right? Like,
exactly.
You know, you
literally
basically, yeah, right. You make it, you advertise it so that it's more appealing to people, and like the
That's
sooner
true.
that they hop, like maybe some guy who has a Razr, you know, the Motorola Razr, he's had it for fucking 20 years, whatever the hell, but he's, you know, reverse engineered it. He's fucking, you know, jailbroken it, and it can make it function like anything, right? But now the new iPhone's out, and it's like, oh shit, like I want that, but now I have to start all over from square one trying to like tinker with this fucking thing. And oh shit, you know, now they have all this other different crap that I'm not even attuned with. Like, I was mechanical, this has all like cyber shit on it, you know. It's just, yeah. I don't really know where I was going with that, so I apologize.
No, it makes sense. It's like any computing language, like somebody who grew up at our age who's like, oh, I know like Java and C++, and it's like, get the fuck out of here. Like, you're useless to us.
Yeah.
You're worthless.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
I've been
Python.
Yeah.
We make apps in here, sir. Like,
Yeah. I've learned how to add 2 rumble packs to my N64, and it's like, bro, we're on VR.
Yeah.
Like,
right.
Pretty much.
It's like, it's like, what is that?
Those can jiggle your balls.
Yeah, it's like those. Yeah, those have the ball technology.
Make a rumble suit.
Yeah, exact. That's what I mean. It's so. Is there? You know, I've been thinking about this more and more, and maybe I've been listening to too much Tim Dillon, to where I'm just accepting everything. Tim Dillon is the funniest human on the planet.
He was on Joe Rogan, right?
Yes, that's
okay.
That's where my brother Charlie sent him to me, and dude, I not only did I finally start listening to him, because like I hate when people say like, you need to listen to this podcast. I'm like, fuck off. Like, I have my own little bubble. Let me live in it in peace. All right, I have my own cognitive dissonance and my own I don't know what the word is. Confirmation biases, and I'm happy in my secluded world. All right, I know I'm right. Leave me alone. But I started watching Tim Dillon, and I rewatched the episodes of him on Joe Rogan so much that I was finally like, fuck, okay, I'll go watch his podcast, the Tim Dillon Show. He rarely has guests. He just gets on a microphone and just yells for an hour. I've watched to the point where I haven't watched Joe Rogan in months, because now I only watch Tim Dillon. He has sucked me in. I truly think he's the funniest person to have ever lived. This podcast sponsored by Tim Dillon. But the point is he just goes on these rants, dude. He goes on these rants, and it's all just like, I don't know. It's almost a little like George Carlin-ish. It's like, it's dark, but like deep down, you know it's true. And part of me is just thinking like, do you just like bend over? And is it just like, fuck it, like, there's a technocratic elite, just plug into the VR, play video games and eat Cheetos, like, fuck it, like, you know, it's whatever? Or it's like, do
Bread
you
and
fight?
circus.
Do you, yeah, bread and circus? Or it's like, you're going to die anyway. Like, go out a fucking hero. Like, fight for what's right. Or it's like, do you plug into that 8K 240 FPS? Like, I don't know. That's where I am right now. Is like, do you just bend over or do you go out just like a Viking with a suicide vest?
Fucking timing, though, man. You know, because if you were to do that, Tommy, like your news apparatus be like, this fucking psycho just went on a killing spree. Like,
Yeah.
what he was going after, I don't fucking know. No one cares.
Yeah,
But,
exactly. That's how they'll paint it. They're like, he doesn't even know what he did, right? It's like,
Right, yeah.
It's like during Occupy Wall Street, they kept reporting. They're like, they don't even know what they're like fighting for, and people will be like, stop saying we don't know what we're fighting for. This is the list of demands, and they're like, they don't even know what they're fighting for, and it's just like, you're right. You could go out as an absolute hero, and they'd be like, crazed man on Zoloft did this today, like, wah, wah. Like,
Right,
you
yeah.
know, it wouldn't be some heroic like Valhalla. It would be like, you know, white man bad, and that's it. Maybe a couple retweets if you're lucky, but that's it. There's no do you think
It's funny how fucking accurate that is.
it's right? It's dark, you know, it's not like exactly,
Right.
it's not the final rush it's not the third wave on Omaha Beach and it's like we're gonna kill these fucking Nazis and my kids are gonna grow up in a Nazi-free world.
Mhm.
No. It's like you can hurl yourself at the apparatus of the state and be like, I will not live under tyranny. And it'll just be like, you know, it'll just have like a Twitter warning. It will be like, this reporting has been deemed like controversial. Oh, well, yeah, I guess so. You'll just be shadow banned. You can put out your manifesto. Your manifesto will be shadow banned. You'll be like, this is my complaints with the world that I'm going out to fight for humanity. And like, it'll just sit at one upvote because they banned it. And it's like, that's all it is. So,
Which is why, like, whenever some psycho goes on it, like the dude out in fucking New Zealand, Christchurch, New Zealand, like, I read his fucking manifesto. Dude was fucking insane. Do not get me wrong. But, like, I read it because of the shit that was touted on the fucking media. And I was like, y'all got it fucking wrong. Like, so fucking wrong.
Yeah.
So, you know, and not to give credence to what he was fucking trying to do or, you know, instigate or whatever the fuck he actually believed in, because he was kind of all over the place with his ideals. But they pigeonholed him so fucking hard. Like, you know, he believes in this and this. He's a right-wing extremist. I was like, dude is also a like extreme environmentalist, which you couldn't really say is right-wing. So the guy had a whole bunch of different shit, but you know, that just adds credence to the fact that like it doesn't matter how noble you feel like your cause is with the way that things are right now. Like doing something like that, you would just be completely dismissed.
Oh yeah.
So they just.
You could go to kill Hitler, but if there was like a gramophone playing in the background, they'd be like, this was taken down on copyright grounds.
Right.
Be like, what do you mean? I tried to take out the Fuhrer, and they'd be like, you were playing music that's been copyrighted by
Camptown Races was playing it.
Right.
Yeah. Sorry, that's
It's a Beautiful Day from U2 is playing in the background,
Yeah.
and they don't want you using that fucking music.
Yeah, exactly. You'd be like, what do you mean? I can't. Yeah, that's exactly what it would be, right?
Or just as you're about to put a bullet in Hitler's head, Amazon would run an ad.
Yeah. That's exactly what it.
All right, chat, we're here.
It would be.
It'd be like an ad run for the boys.
Yeah, it wouldn't even be. You'd be watching this like video. You put a GoPro. You put your GoPro on your rifle as you go to kill Hitler, and then whoever's watching it, like the little like banner would pop up, and it'd be like, you may also be interested in GoPro Hero 5. You'd be like, oh, look at that, it's on sale Black Friday. And it's like, meanwhile I'm like, dismantle the fascist elite, they are going to enslave us all, they want to plug us into the AI. And it would be like, Neil deGrasse Tyson says AI is whack, and you'd be like, I agree, retweet, share. I mean, do we get what are we just getting what we deserve? Like, do we deserve this? Are we just cattle, and we're just reaping what, or is that just blackpilling? Is that just being a negative Nancy piece of shit?
Well, I think there's credence to every black pill too, but you know, you don't want to fucking OD on black pills.
No.
But yeah, I think there's
you need
enough
a healthy level. healthy balance between black pills and copium. You know what I mean? It's got to be like
Copium?
fucking
Copium.
I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
You gotta balance it out there. Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking, right? Is like one thing I've thought about is like you know, take the red pill, take the blue pill. You can go on believing whatever you want. Well, I've been thinking like if let's just say like we are in a matrix, right? And nothing is actually objectively real. Then by taking the red pill, which you are actually opting for, is probably a worse reality because you're opting to see behind the curtain, but might not actually be any curtain for you to see behind, but you are now opting for that, you know, that ending to your video game.
I think you can already more or less see behind the curtain.
Well,
like I don't think we're so entrenched yet.
Yeah.
Like because technology and information, I think, is still in a new area. You know, it hasn't been around for very long, so like the security around it is still kind of loose. You know what I mean? That's why we get these glimpses into these really powerful people's lives.
Mm-hmm. It also doesn't help that.
You know.
No, sorry, Rob. Go ahead. No. You go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say they don't have as much of an iron grip. Like, yes, they can shut people down and like, but like even like, okay, you shut down someone on Twitter. Like there's other platforms they can go to if they're really like someone who is worth paying attention to. Like people will still find them. They will be able to find them. You know what I mean? And the word can still get out.
For now.
There's not such a grip yet on
for
the
now.
internet that you know, people are, I don't know. Like, it's not so dystopian yet. Again, I can totally see it going that way. Absolutely. I feel like the technology is in place, but there's also, not everything is online. You know what I mean? Like, part of it has to be some kind of, like, physical danger or physical threat of violence.
Yeah. It's
to ultimately oppress.
To the same thing, though, is... And Rob, I completely agree. You made a lot of points that I was going to make, but
10 points.
Yeah. So I'm glad I let you spoke. I didn't want to step on you. But additionally, because of all the extra media that we have, like this new, you know, social media. We grew up with social media, but it's still somewhat, you know, new. Like because they keep reaching different. Right. Yeah.
We watched it evolve. Yeah.
They keep finding ways to like implement it, you know, and use it and add new features and all this shit. And because of that, like I think it's allowed a lot of people, like luckily a lot of the people that are higher up in society, like they're fucking old and they just don't, like me trying to figure out how to unmute myself on fucking Zoom because I don't know where the button is. You know, like they don't realize that they're doing shit, so they let the mask slip a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Is also helpful to kind of like peek behind that fucking curtain, like you said, Tommy. But
yeah.
It always happens with tech. Like, remember being taught about the Kennedy-Nixon fucking debates?
Yeah, audio.
Right? The first time Nixon went on, and he looked like a fucking sweaty sack of potato shit, and that basically lost it for him just because of that. Like, it's not like these are new things.
Yeah.
Those old school propaganda techniques that are just being used in different.
Yeah. Those who listened thought Nixon won. Those who watched thought Kennedy won.
Exactly.
Right.
It's then it's moving so quickly that like the people who are entrenched in the media already, people usually
they're already
at most maybe JP and I's age and older are like out of touch with a lot of this stuff, like, or they're not in a social circle that gives them access to other aspects of people's, like, you know, like that happens in like a lot of media. A lot of media is like in a city, right? Like I live in the biggest city in my country. I live in it. So like I know how the different circles exist because I've lived in both of them, you know, the rural, like we have like the same type of people you do in your country. Like it's no fucking different. It's just like the countries to the north, right? But like fundamentally our cities and our countryside work pretty much the same way. People's mindsets are very much the same. Like, you know what I mean? So it's, I see how like media can get entrenched in their ideas because they don't venture outside of their circles.
Yeah.
And then I can see how like outside, like rural people can get extremely ostracized because to them it's just like a dream. It's like not something that doesn't really exist. Yeah. Something that they will never interact with.
Yeah.
But then once you actually see behind the media curtain, you see it's like 20 to 30 jackasses. You know what I mean? It's not like this big conspiracy. It's just a bunch of out of touch assholes. They just happen to have access to the biggest megaphone in the country.
Yeah.
Not the only megaphone, but the biggest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's other people don't get heard, or they get like trampled over, or their points of view aren't brought, or they're thought foolish, or whatnot. And then I think it also gives rise for idiots and fucking like people who are just there to make a buck to like go into those like rural neighborhoods and be like, you know what, fuck these people. You know what I mean? Like we see it all the time in Ontario. Holy shit! Like right now, like we're having a big thing with like like governments from the 90s sold out the old folks homes like way back when, and now like our COVID deaths are like in the 96 percentiles for like they're just wiping them out one after another.
Jesus Christ.
Right? And so like it's kind of like they're like like you know what I mean? And it's like people are fucking backpedaling, but there's no real like truth.
Yeah.
That is being sent out there. You know what I mean? Like if you just look at it as an objective person and be like X happened, Y happened, Z happened, like okay, we see. But like there's so many weird media outlets now that it's just like, what the fuck is going on? Like on one side, it's like this person is like literally the demon, like literally a demon, and then on the other side, it's like they've done nothing wrong ever in their life, and it's like, no, it has to be somewhere. It has to be like there's no like you're sucking that dick and you're sucking that dick. Like, no, I don't know.
No,
what's happening?
Yeah, and it's. I think you're right, Rob. I think it's very easy to look at like the TV and see like Fox News and CNN and be like, they're all pulling the strings from some underground bunker with like a Doctor Strangelovian sort of big round table, like the UN. They're like, we are now implementing this part of the plan, and it's just like this plan that's been going on since like 10,000 BC. Like we're moving closer to the end game. In reality, it's just someone that's like, our clicks are through the roof, so let's keep pushing the race war because our ROI, oh boy. So let's get a picture of that MAGA guy. Get the white guy with the missing tooth. All right. Now you see the black woman crying. Angle that perfectly. Oh, that's a wrap, guys. We're all getting bonuses this year. Caviar in the bathroom, and it's like there's no like Illuminati like cut the throat of the virgin. It's like no, it's just some guys like, bro, I am getting that new Rolex this year. And it's like, is that which is almost kind of worse. You almost wish it was the Illuminati because at least it kind of makes sense. But now it's just like, really, we're just a bunch of fucking pigs, just like. You know, it's just like
a bunch of greedy fucking pigs, dude.
They're all fucking friends with each other. Like, you know they are because they all live in the same city together. Like, people act like Fox News is on one side of the country and CNN is on the other side. No, they're on the same block.
They're in the same.
They can look at each other from their like fucking
They're
buildings.
in the same penthouse,
you know
doing the same cocaine, and fucking the same farm animals together.
Exactly.
Right.
And the fringe media and news networks that want to look like them are just the people like who are. It's like when you're a douchebag and you want to get into a club, but no one's gonna let you into the club. So like you're like, I'm gonna start this club over here, and like be like, yeah, fuck you, man. Yeah. But like secretly, you know, the second they were like, yeah, you can come on in, you'd fucking drop all that shit and run over across the street to them.
Exactly.
And it's all the same. It's just this big hive of like subservient cucks, like all the way down. That's all it is. It doesn't matter if they're on YouTube. They're all the fucking same people because they all beg. That's all they want. They're like, oh, this news station mentioned me. Like, that's like, I guarantee they will get on a fucking 9-hour YouTube fucking live stream talking about like how CNN like got a headline wrong about them. Like, because it's about them. It's not about you. It doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It's just like, give me money, give me my Patreon. Like, it's all that fucking bullshit, right? Like, I like shit that Tommy does because it's like random and you're just like mining people for information. Yeah. You're not like setting up a narrative. You're not like, this is the way it is and like we gotta band together and my bank account's gotta get bigger so I can give these leftists and or rightists depending on who I'm talking to. You know what I mean? That's what I want to see. I want to see someone test that theory, use that like use deep fakes to just be two different people peddling two different narratives to two different groups and see how far you can get.
That's what
I want to see.
I think you found your calling, Rob.
Yeah.
Fucking play that.
Right? I don't know if I can do it. I have like a bit too much of a conscience to like fuck with people that much.
No, you just gotta cut it out.
Monetary.
You just gotta remove. You just gotta remove the conscious. Like it's just.
Or just two people working together. Easily. Two people working together that know what's going on behind the scenes. One's the right side, one's the left side. And it's like race to 1 million followers.
I don't think I've ever had this
experiment.
I don't think I've ever had this podcast so accurately summed up as you said it. I like Tommy because he's just mining people for information.
But there's nothing wrong.
No.
with that.
It's and I don't. Yeah, and I don't give a fuck.
You don't try to be anything else anyway.
I've tried to like put my no. I'm just saying for like me, I've tried to put my thumb on what is this podcast. That's exactly it. I try to have on interesting people, and I just just put it on them, and it's like a metal detector. It's like you have interesting stories, tell them to me.
Right.
Drain them, and then go next.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, you're a whore.
I am. I'm a fucking vampiric whore.
Hey man, you're fuck, I was just watching, what the fuck was I watching? Oh, Netflix just put out some like alien weird thing. So basically what they're doing is they're taking the strangest biological habitats they can find on Earth and then applying them to possible exoplanets that we've found to see like what kind of life might live there. You know what I mean?
Is like the, what is it, Europa? Or they think
I can't remember the names of the ones they go to, but it's a CGI thing, right?
Yeah.
So they're just like imagining so like in a place where like the gravity's much thicker, much heavier, the atmosphere would be thicker, so there would be like these grazing, like basically like versions of cows, but they fly because the atmosphere is so thick.
Before you even said that, in my mind I was just thinking like big blimp cows.
Basically, like that, yeah. Basically,
glad we're on the same wavelength.
They eat because like the spores from the plants, because the atmosphere is so thick, they just fire all their fucking seeds in the air.
It'd be like whales eating plankton. It'd be like these big cows just like.
Basically, that's exactly what it is. But then their predators are these weird things that like have gas sacks that could fill up and they float up and then they just drop,
attack,
and they fucking like dive bomb them.
Oh fuck!
And they're like weird leeches. Dude, check it out. Like it's a cool documentary, right? It's just like whatever. But it's cool as shit.
That's actually, but that's exactly how it would play out, right? Because
kinda like that's one way it could.
Because we look at our like biosphere and we're like, this is normal, but in reality, like if you just detached and we just like explain to like a creature that wasn't even from here, like a bird, like that's an animal and it's just like peace, and it just flies. It just flies. Took us 100,000 years to do it, and they're just like bye. They just fucking leave, right? It's like my people need me. Yeah, it's or like alligators just walking. You know, we see like, hey, look at this.
Well, that was another one. They were talking. That's why I got into this topic. Sorry, I totally got off of what I was going to talk about. Was alligators haven't changed because they can adapt to like fucking anything. Like it doesn't matter if it's dry. Like they know how to like conserve water. If it's wet, they know how to hunt. Like it doesn't matter. They can, because there's this fucking ancient crater down in Chile. I'm really bad on details, but anyways, half of it is like on a continent, and then the other half is like in the ocean. You can see like the crater ridges, but at each ridge there's like a lake, and then this guy was like diving into the lake, and he found like a gator in there that had just, I guess, fallen in from the surrounding forest. Because there's just this random lake in the middle of nowhere, and it was just like surviving. It would just like go after fish, and like it was thriving in its own way. But that's your podcast, man. Your podcast is a gator. It's just like fucking does whatever it needs to do to survive.
Gator in a crater.
Yeah, gator in a crater.
Listen, guys, I'm just a gator in a crater. You know, I'm just a dog chasing cars, right? I'm just a gator in a crater, guys. You know, wouldn't know what I'd do if I actually got out of it. It's
adapt,
right? There's some hope.
Oh, speaking of, you remember how like always on our podcast, whenever we get, or your podcast, I should say, whenever we get into video game stuff, it always ends up like Tommy's dream video game.
My
like,
dream
where
video
he can
game.
Do anything. Where he can do anything.
Yeah.
And like, have you ever heard of DayZ? Maybe JP knows this.
No,
Yeah.
no.
Okay, DayZ is like it's the oldest. It's old as shit. It's based on an old game called Arma 2. It's like a military sim, basically.
I've heard of the name Arma.
Okay, and it's like it's a really realistic, like as far as I think things like A plus B equals C realistic sim, and as much as you could probably get on a computer in 2010. But it's come a long way, and now it's like this weird. It's evolved into this weird post-apocalyptic survival game. Kind of PUBG, but not PUBG, because like the way it plays out usually is really different. Because you have an open mic, you can set it to like speak or yell or whisper. So like you can go up to people and be like, "Hey, I don't have anything." Like, and your hunger is like getting low, and like you need water, and you got to like run around and find shit. But there's also zombies that spawn around you within like 500 meters or something like that.
And they're a pain in the dick.
Yeah. But you have to like find places like military bases or like hunting lodges, and you got to like piecemeal weapons together a lot of the time. Like you'll find a weapon, but it'll be like, you got clip for that? Oh, you got you got ammo for this? Oh, I got this ammo, but I don't. And it's like every fucking ammo, every fucking gun, every fucking clip, and they're just randomly scattered around. Like random pieces of like loot and like helmets and military, from anything from like military grade helmets to fucking hockey helmets. Like you can have on. And
or you have soccer hat.
Yeah. And you can make bases and shit, and you can find old like castle ruins and like jack them up so that they're like people are locked out. You can keep all your shit in them.
Fuck yeah!
But it's permadeath, right? Like if you die, like you got to start completely over.
You just respawn. But you in a server, you can like know. Okay, so I stashed a bunch of fucking guns way up north in this forest, and so like even if you and your buddy get wiped, you can be like, all right, if we get wiped, meet up here. But so the maps are like, I don't know, like fucking 5 square kilometers or some shit like that. Like they're gigantic.
Yeah. So is that what like real life like sunken ships like treasure? It's like when someone finds like a fucking like thing with like $100 billion of Spanish gold. Is it just like, don't worry, I left this here?
Sometimes
it's like some James Cameron motherfucker is like, don't worry.
Sometimes people will like raid your fucking nest or whatever, and then just like leave you a note like, get fucking good, noob. Or like,
get fucked. Yeah.
Sucks. Yeah. Is that what all the Middle East is? It's like, what is out here? It's all desert. I put 500 quadrillion gallons of oil. Holy shit! No one would ever guess. I know, right? But, dude, speaking of like, I remember one time, Rob, you and I were talking about a video game where like, I was like, I want a game that I play that like, because like Grand Theft Auto is like funny. You're like shooting cops, and they're like, one of us is gonna die. And they're like, you can suck my dick, right? They're just yelling at you and shit, and it's just, it's
on the ground, fuck face. Yeah,
get on the ground, fuck face. Like approaching the target, like you suck my lead. It's all this stuff, and it's got him in my sights, gonna blow their head off. They just got all these lines, right?
Right, yeah.
And I was talking to Rob one time, and I was like, man, I want a game that's like uncomfortable. Like I want to go shoot someone, and then like someone next to them just like, or they're like, oh, I'm bleeding out, fuck. And I just want to be like, oh man, like
there's some servers like that on DayZ because
I was gonna say I've been playing Hitman 2, and as I've explained to you guys, I listen to audiobooks and I mute the video games, but every once in a while I let my hair down and I put on the audio of the video game, like a real indulgent fucking heathen. And I go in and I did it on like Hitman 2, and I'd been playing the game for like 2 weeks without audio, again, like a sane person. And I finally turned it on. I was just walking around, and like Hitman 2, you're supposed to be very MacGyver-ish.
Overt.
You're supposed to it's you want like the least number. It's like golf. It's like the least number of people you kill, the better.
Right.
But that's not how I play it. I just what I do is I just sweep the map. I just start, and I have this theory of like, if I just murder everyone, then I can walk around and find all the Easter eggs. So Like, you're supposed to, like, there's a
That's one way
time
to play.
bonus. You're supposed to play him quickly. You're supposed to, like, blend
Right.
in, steal uniforms. You can be a waiter and you put poison in his drink.
Yeah.
What I do is I start from where I am and I just kill everyone, civilians and guards, take all the ammo, and then I kind of just, like, move forward. And then I have, like, a new, like, 100-foot radius, and I kill everyone. And I just sweep that the map. And it sucks because my scores on the game are, like, I get all of the Easter eggs, but then my score, there'll be, like a negative 1.8 million XP bonus because
you killed so many civilians.
But I'm not kidding. It's actually, that's my record right now, is negative 1.8 million. Like, it's like Easter eggs found 5 out of 5, objectives 10 out of 10, civilian death bonus minus 1.8 million XP. So
Killed the city.
like, you're supposed to maybe get one by accident in, like, a crossfire or, like, a mine.
Yeah.
But, like, I'll take
Dude,
it.
this fashion show is televised. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Hitman,
But I took out 300.
I can never remember which Hitman this is in, but the mission where you're like at the party at the lodge in the mountains. Do you remember this level?
I don't know.
Almost like-
I don't even play them chronologically. I don't play the campaign. I just go on new levels and I just sweep left and right and kill everyone.
This level is like there's like a hot tub with like a glass bottom, and you gotta like lure the dude into the hot tub and just fucking
fuck.
blow at the bottom of the hot tub.
Oh, is it like the one? It's like in Japan.
I can't remember. I thought it was in the mountains or something.
Yeah,
It was
there's like a lodge in the mountains. Yeah, no, I just played that one. It's called Hokkaido. But no, I didn't even know that's what you did because I just swept left and right and killed everybody. Just
you gotta get as many people in the hot tub as possible.
I just go
Pew.
through and I kill everybody. Like I have this like vacuum thing on the back of my Xbox that gauges like the temperature. It sucks air out. And that, like, yeah, it's because, again, like a sane person, I like to see how hot I can get the Xbox, and I find it through like different games. So like Grand Theft Auto 5 stars, like, you know, it's processing a lot. I try to get and they'll get to like 125 degrees Fahrenheit. It's like the air coming out. Hitman, I can get Hitman if I kill everyone and then I shoot like every window and I just try to interact with as many things as possible. My record right now is 137, and I've got it to the point where it like glitches out and it like shuts down. So I'm trying to see how far, but that's how I play the game is I just...
Tommy doesn't even play video games like a normal fucking person.
No, just dissect them like a psychopath. But
that's why like playing Daisy with you would probably be hilarious.
But
it's super glitchy.
Yeah.
So you would just break everything.
Dude, it's
constantly.
I try to get the whole crowd to run in one area. I'll like bottleneck them, and then I'll just fucking sit there with like an M60.
Jesus.
Just get it going, yeah. But the point being is when I did turn on the audio, is like I was like, oh fuck, this is a little like intense because like I just shot like a couple people, and the guy was like, we got a mass murder on my hand. That's 3. There's 4 bodies. Never mind, that's 4. Read 4, not 3. We gotta have a And I was like, that's a little like uncomfortable. And then like I went up and there was like one guy in like the bank and he was working on the vending machine. And I was just walking through the bank, just, you know, shooting everybody. And I went up and the guy was working on the vending machine and like the gun clicked. I was like, fuck. So I was reloading. He turned around and he goes, dude, please, I'm taking care of my mom. I'm the only one that's caring for her. She's sick. I'm her only child left. None of my brothers even helped me with the bills. And I just stared at the screen and was like, fuck. And
God.
I actually walked.
But then, like,
I actually walked away.
Usually you're just like listening to like audiobooks, so you're just
yeah. Normally, but that's what it normally is.
No, please.
But that's what it normally is. It's like in 1947, Curtis LeMay decided that we needed to do accelerated paperclip because the importance of solid state rockets, and it's just toom 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 toom. It's just, but instead, or the other time is I was in like Italy, and I went up to some cafe. And I was just shooting everyone at point blank. And I like turned on the audio, and I went to again the same. I shot and I like missed right by, and the guy he drops to his knees and he goes, "Please," he was like, "I'm 40 years old. I just fell in love for the first time. Please let me experience love."
God,
I muted it. I put my book back on and I just killed everyone. I was like, fuck this game. But, oh God, I'm bleeding out, mom. I'm like, fuck. And so it's, you know what? So I now rescind my wish for a very realistic game. Instead, I like someone just, I'm going to blow your head off. I'm like,
oh, but it's like so funny. Like I've been watching some streamers play DayZ, and they'll like meet up with people and like they'll be talking to the chat, being like, "Yeah, I don't know about this guy." Like, you know what I mean? And then the guy will just be like sitting there talking, like telling a story, and then all of a sudden, he just like fucking blows him away. It's like, what the hell? I'm like,
that's
I gotta say, dude, I've been playing Destiny 2 like crazy lately, and I don't get any of that because all I do is shoot aliens that like speak a foreign language.
Well, see, it's not personal enough. You got to get in. You got to get right up and close.
Because Destiny 2 is more like a grinding, right? So there's just endless waves and shit.
Yeah, it's very grindy. Yeah, it's like a loot shooter. It's like, oh, you got to get the fucking best gear and shit. And I mean, like, yeah, it's a gimmick, but I'm totally into it right now. So
I get it.
Yeah.
But I mean, they used to do that even with They used to do that even with like the Battlefield games, not necessarily like to the extent, Tommy, like you said, like, oh, just let me experience love before you kill me, please. Like, but you'd like, you know, you'd shoot somebody like, oh God, it fucking hurts. You know,
you're like,
you hear people like that.
Yeah.
But now they really toned down, like in the
I was gonna say, I don't think like Warzone does it. Like when you're injured and you're like, you know what I mean? Like fucking trying to crawl away and shit.
Yeah.
Like, Cold War, it's like nothing. It's you only talk when you say shit, and like you can equip a fucking perk that basically makes it so you don't talk. So
yeah, it's
a ninja. Just like shut the fuck up. Don't say anything.
Because that pissed me off with Modern Warfare, man. Like in the early days of Modern Warfare, like playing online, you go to somebody like, "There's a tango over there," and like someone like trying to sneak up on some dude, and like he just like,
turns
hey,
yeah,
like, exactly. Your fucking dude's like reloading, and you're like, "Shut up! There's no one around. Just the guy I'm trying to knife."
It's Mission Impossible. You're like sneaking down onto it, and you're like, I'm close to the computer. They have no idea I'm here, and it's like, hey, who's that? It
kind of reminds me of like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back when they're doing like the whole entrapment, like, you know, spin off with the girls trying to dodge the, you know, the laser wires. And they all like try to one up each other and like doing acrobatics, you know, not hitting all these laser grid wires. And the one like does it the best, like she does all these somersaults and flips and whatnot, and then she lands and like does a little pose and then farts and like the alarm goes off.
Fucking Arby's.
Yeah, fucking Arby's. Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, but it's at the same time like I still can't like stop doing it. Like it's kind of addictive.
I don't know. For me, games like that, I find like open world. If I was to get into DayZ and like get a good computer, it would just be to like fuck around with like I would want to like play with two guys like you and just run around talking shit and just wreaking havoc on people and just like, okay, one of us died. All right, let's try again. And like, whatever.
Yeah.
It's just, it's like, more of a social thing. Than
that's what I always do with like these games is like, I always try to, like, it's fun to like grind and like mod up weapons and shit, but like, that's just like setting yourself up for loss when it gets looted. And so what I do is, I like a true psycho, I try to master the most abundant weapon. So like Grand Theft Auto, it's like there's like 11 different pistols you can buy. I just only ever use the main one the cops carry, so that I just get really good with that one. So if I lose it, I just kill someone and then I just get it again. Or like with Hitman, I just master the pistol that you get out of the gate. Like I don't worry about sniper rifles or like, you know, MP5s or something. But again, even that is just for like a nefarious end. It's so I can kill people most efficiently, and it's
you don't have to go searching for ammo.
Yeah, exactly.
I get it.
Yeah, and there definitely is some like weirdness, kind of like moments where I'll stop and I'll just like when someone's running by and I'll like try to sweep and I'll shoot and I just happen to hit someone, kind of a blind shot, like a no scope. But it's when I hit them and they're like running by a wall and it just blows red all over the wall. That still manages to like stop me in my tracks sometimes. I'll just be like,
that was like one of the.
I have to piss so bad.
Go for it. So that was like one of the defining moments in my gaming fandom life was when Counter-Strike Source came out. Rob, I don't know if you ever played Counter-Strike, but
I never played CS. No.
Yeah. But when Source first came out, and I think it was like early 2000s, my buddy had like a really good computer, and he ran it at like, full range, best specs and whatnot. And I'm playing this map. I think it was Office. And granted, like I played the old Counter-Strike, it's very like 8-bit kind of looking, kind of Minecraft, like blocky characters and shit. Yeah. This is like smooth, like, it actually looks realistic for the time. And I go into this office and I'm like crouched in the corridor, and one of the enemies comes around the corner, and I shot him with a shotgun, and like I domed him. And just like the ragdoll physics of his head just go and like blood hitting the wall, and like he's running, so like his inertia, makes him fall down like that. I was like, holy fucking shit. Like,
right, yeah. That's like, old Gary's mod. Like I never played, but I was like aware of it, and I played Half-Life 2 a lot, but I never played CS because like I didn't have, the fuck was it at the time? I think like my parents didn't want to internet. Like it was like
yeah, like it was all online. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I only played like Half-Life 2 or like anytime I could get a mod. Like go to like school, download it on a computer, and then bring it home. Nice. Like burn it onto a CD or some shit. Like 512 megabyte
CD
file on this fucking CD burn. Yeah, so stupid. So like it was shit like that. That's all I had access to. But like now, what do you play now? So you've been playing Destiny, and is that it mainly?
Mainly. I mean, I still occasionally, like with my brother, I'll hop on Star Wars Battlefront 2, which is fucking awesome. But again, it's multiplayer. But yeah, just primarily those two. I'm waiting for Cyberpunk 2077 to come out, which is next Tuesday. So that's gonna be fucking awesome. But,
that's gonna be cool.
But yeah, I also got Assassin's Creed Valhalla recently. My buddy bought it, and we like game share on Xbox.
Okay.
And it's a good game, but there's just something about the Assassin's Creed games. They just don't kind of keep my attention very long. Like, there's nothing wrong with the game. Like, what I've played, I've really enjoyed. But yeah,
is it just the same shit it's always been though? Basically,
yeah, pretty much. Hey, climb here.
Go to the tower. Open up this part of the map. Go liberate these fucking 3 outposts.
Just Cause.
They have improved like the story aspect of it. Like this time around, I really do enjoy the story, but like I've just. Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Just Cause.
Yeah.
No.
Just Cause is cool too, though.
Just Cause is cool, but the story has not improved.
No, it's shitty.
It's terrible. It's horrible. The whole thing is fucking horrible. It's
And the characters are so stereotypical, like Hispanic,
Like, oh yeah. You always have you have like the really hot girl that's like an auto mechanic, right? My grandpa taught me back when my dad was in jail, and it's like that's just been copy and pasted from like Transformers to like 90s movies. The hot girl with the hygiene shorts who can really work on a car because my grandpa showed me. No, wait, sorry. And she always has a British accent. Sorry. Right? It's just the same thing. It's, growing up on the streets wasn't easy without my mom and dad around. So I had to teach myself, figure it's worth fighting for something. It's like, fuck off. Just fuck off, dude. Like, I want you screaming and crying like, I don't want to die. I don't want to join a militia. I just want to experience love. And it's like, fuck, we got to do it. Maybe if we turn ourselves in, they'll let us live. Like, that's what I want. I want like the no atheists in foxholes. I want to be like, maybe if I turn them in, if I sell out my people, they'll like let me join their army. Like, that's what I want. It's true, like pants shitting, like, yeah, that. And I want full, because as much as I'm like terrified and like disgusted by like Hitman when they're just like crying like, please don't kill me, like please and I'm just like, fuck, like it's just uncomfortable. I want it to be like anatomically correct too. Like when I shoot someone with a shotgun, like I want it to be like disgusting. like
know what you mean?
Yeah, it's right, because if you shoot someone with a shotgun at point blank in the head, they don't just go oh and just a little puff of red, right? It's, I mean, it's disgusting.
Right, yeah.
That's what that's what I want it to be.
Yeah, matter strung about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or like a bomb when I like, again, playing Hitman, because like what I'll do is I'll go put like proximity mines in a hallway, and then I'll like go walk out onto like a catwalk, and there's like a big crowd, and I'll take like the unsilenced pistol, I'll just start like shooting in the air, so they all run, and then it's just. But I'll line up proximity mines every like 10 meters, so like they'll run onto one. I'll be like, boom, and I'll just throw bodies, and then like the crowd starts running again, and boom, it just hits the next. But like even then, like no, it should be disgusting, right? It should be absolutely disgusting. Do you think there's a reason?
Oh, go ahead. I was just gonna say Doom Eternal does that pretty good, actually. I don't know if you've played it. Yeah. But I mean, you're shooting demons, so it's about as anatomically correct as I would think it would be. But yeah. So like you can rip like some guy's head out and like his spine is dangling with like innards, strung on it and shit, and then you like shove it back down in the hole that you just made and like boop it on the top, and now it's like caved in and shit.
Maybe I don't. Maybe I don't want that. Don't get
me wrong. Doom Eternal looks great, but
I think the things you want can already exist. You just haven't encountered them yet.
Probably
because you spent 11,000 hours playing
one game
campaign,
gunning down civilians.
Yeah,
or Grand Theft Auto.
That is true. It's not.
You've put in more time on Grand Theft Auto than some people have in World of Warcraft.
I put more time in Grand Theft Auto than some people have raising their kids.
Yeah.
I'm a good father. It's you can call me daddy, but
yeah, man, I really want to I just need people to play with as far as games go. It's just fucking boring grinding by yourself.
It does suck, dude.
You should find. I'd be down to play, except I'm not gonna like be there. I'm gonna be listening to an audiobook. But if you just need like a body, I'm not going to be able to follow any rules. I'm not going to be helpful in any way.
Rules? It's just a game.
I don't know.
People.
I don't know. It's just like Dude, I've gotten to a point now where I started it with Hitman. What I did is I turned off all the tutorials. I turned off the mini map and the hint and everything. So I don't even know I don't know like what the campaign is. I have no idea what the story is. I don't watch any of like the cinematic like cut scenes. I've been doing that with games now, and I did it with Red Dead Redemption, where I'll just mute it, no tutorials, don't read anything, no watching anything. You just dropped into the world, and it's like go.
I mean, you're basically just cutting out the story and going straight to endgame. Pretty much, because that's all there is.
Call of Duty Warzone is. That's why you can just download Warzone with no story, no bullshit. Just like that's it.
That's what I've been.
Pick a dude, pick some guns. Let's go.
Go shoot people. Yeah.
But it all kind of boils down to the same. No matter what, it just turns into me finding ever more powerful weapons and just sweeping the map left to right.
Yeah, you're gonna have a hard time in Warzone though, because the map will sweep right back. That's the problem. There's like a difficulty to it.
Fuck.
Yeah, you're not alone. Yeah. It's you and 100 and whatever other people.
And then you got to fight the map too, right? Like because the circle continues to close and whatnot.
Gas will kill you.
Yeah, it's like Hunger Games shit.
And just speculate wildly now. And just three. You guys good to go for like another 22 minutes?
Yeah.
Is that okay? 22 minutes exactly?
Mm-hmm.
Not a fucking second over.
22 exact.
22, or I'll kill Rob.
This hour has 22 minutes.
Yeah.
That was an old Canadian comedy show. It was like making fun of the fact that commercials were so long.
Oh, gotcha.
This hour has 22 minutes.
22.
Yeah. Time to speculate wildly. Do you think there's even going to be a Grand Theft Auto 6?
Yes.
Yeah, there will be.
I've lost hope.
I don't know if it'll be any good. It'll probably be buggy as shit. And like COD, like Black Ops apparently are like breaking PS5s all over the place right now.
Really?
And people are fucking pissed because like they overpaid for Black Ops because of course Activision had to charge the most for the new console games, right?
Yeah. How much did it cost?
$70.
Jesus.
$80 for the PlayStation 5 version.
Jesus.
Oh no shit! Holy crap! Yeah. That's ridiculous.
You had to pay $10 for cross-platform access.
What a bunch of
Cool.
They're fucking selling that shit? Seriously?
I mean,
I only
Wow.
bought the PlayStation 4 one.
just
but,
I mean, we're just a bunch of
yes.
pigs. We're getting what we deserve.
And it's been like legit breaking people's like PlayStations. Like, okay, mail them back. We'll send you another one. Like that bad.
Jesus,
Fucked them
Jesus.
up.
So it's not like overheating. It's like
No.
it's like ruining.
total
Like
breaking.
ruining.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's what you get for buying a fucking console out of the gate. I'm definitely
Yeah,
not.
you know,
Apparently, it's not. It doesn't work. It doesn't work on Xbox One X or whatever the new one is,
Xbox
and then
Series
it's
X.
crashing the fucking PlayStation 5.
I've got.
So it's just
I've
like,
got a one.
good job, Activision. You've destroyed 2 consoles in like one fell swoop.
I haven't.
Yeah, and all honesty, like if this was back in 2013 when the Xbox One came out, I would have been a day one buyer. But even then, I was just like, I mean, granted, I couldn't physically do it because I have better things to do with my money being unemployed than to spend it on $500 consoles. But you know, like my friend got an Xbox Series X and he turned it on and tried playing AC Valhalla and it just turned it off. Like the system just turns off. And granted, like he can turn it back on, but he can't play shit on it. So, like, yeah.
Now, granted, if it turns
That's
off, you can turn it back on.
I feel like
That is
going
a selling point.
forward, It's just like I'm just gonna go PC from now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
gonna be it.
Yeah, I mean, I love a console, but I love a console simply because I've had a console. I don't even know
I
if I
can sit
actually
here-
love consoles. I think
But
it's
I
just
can sit here and plug in my this is just a Bluetooth controller.
Yeah.
Like I can plug this into my laptop and still play games. Like,
Yeah,
that's-
I think
do
that's what I actually
on emulators
yeah,
too.
I think that's what I actually like. Is part of me is like, I'm a console guy, and it's like, no, I just like a controller.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
really it. Has nothing to
and
do.
most games these days are like whatever you can play on PC. Most of the time, you can use a controller, unless it's specifically like a point and click game. You know?
Yeah.
And even then, it's
But even that, yeah, because you can buy you can download like a Joy-Con emulator. I think is the one that I have. Yeah, and then you can be like, all right, move the mouse left, move left joystick left. You just map it. So
Yes.
It's yeah. I mean, I think
And
that's
it's like
probably the
more
way.
upfront, but I think less over time, even with the software, because console control their stores, right? So they can curate when and where. But like Steam, when isn't Steam shit on sale? You know, it's like
Right,
constantly on sale. You can
Yeah.
always find deals. You can get thousands of hours of gaming time for like $50. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mhm.
On a PC, you just pay up front more so. I thought.
Yeah. Part of me is really tempted to get a Series X, but part of me is just like
For what? What are you getting it for?
I don't even
You
know.
can play game, so you can play a high def like 4K Grand Theft
exactly.
Auto.
No, there's no logic behind this, Rob. This is
Grand
just
Theft Auto 4.
this is consumerism to fill the void. It's like maybe if I get
Right.
that console,
Yeah.
I'll be happy.
No.
And it's like, nope, that's not it, bud.
Nope.
That's not. But it has AK gaming. It has the teraflops, and it's like, go for it, bud. JP, you muted out. Can't hear you, JP.
Yeah, no, my dog's barking
There
at the
you go.
mailman.
Oh. Well, maybe you should listen to him.
Just the mailman.
Yeah. Yeah. Next thing you know, it'll be the milkman fucking your wife.
You want that milk pasteurized?
It doesn't matter who we are. Have you seen the pandemic special?
I have not watched that.
Rob?
I need to watch it.
Oh,
The South Park pandemic special?
oh no.
Fuck. Dude, it is.
Come on your bed. Come on, relax.
It's the funniest South Park I've seen probably in the last 5 years. It is. It's when we needed them most, they come through. It's
I noticed like a bunch of weird things are coming back. Like I know South Park never really went away or whatever, but like there was a JP. Do you remember G4 TV?
I do. Yeah, I know that's coming back. Yeah.
Yeah, they did that like Thanksgiving reunion with Ron Funches. It was like the fucking most awkward 40 minutes
It
ever.
was, man. Yeah.
But it was like, okay. I mean, that's what it always was, though. It was like YouTube before YouTube, kind of. They were fucking weird. I don't know if, do you know, Tommy, do you know
I
G4?
think I recognize like the name.
Yeah, it was like a basically gaming station.
No, I recognize like the name, and I think I recognize like the logo, but no,
Yeah.
I don't actually understand what it is. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's gonna be. I don't think because I had never actually asked myself why would I get a new Xbox. It was just it's a new Xbox. That's why. It's like why would you like a large or super size? You're like fuck, like, you know. I guess
small.
I guess super. You know, I'm not a pussy. Like I guess so. Fucking bump that shit up, right? It's.
I mean, if,
there's no reason. What's the poll?
I could afford it and find it. The PS5 only right now is a good deal, and the only reason it's a good deal right now is because until January, the end of January, they have like 18 games for free, and they're all like good fucking games, like Bloodborne and like there's all these like good shit that's on there, and it's all free. So like if you can like raid the store and download them all for free, then you have like 2 years worth of games.
Yeah,
and you only spend like whatever $5-6.
Yeah. There's always that weird hustle, that like weird sprint right when a new console comes out. Yeah, you're like games for this console. You Google games for and there's always a racing game.
Games for PS5, I don't think that are like PS5 exclusive.
That's what I mean.
Anything you can play right now on PS5, you can play on PS4. Yeah, and same for Xbox.
And that's not
yeah. The only difference is PlayStation 5 at least has some new titles that aren't cross-gen, whereas Xbox has none. However, Xbox does
assholes. Yeah, like you see what they've done with Call of Duty. Like it gets so fucking petty. Like PlayStation people get like 2 more slots for like custom like weapon slots. It's like, who fucking cares? Like it's so stupid. It's like, haha, Xbox, you only get 7 weapon slots and I get 9. Oh, and I get to play this shitty zombie like version of zombies that you guys don't get to play for another year. It's like, it's just so dumb. It's like my shotgun. My shotgun has this sticker on it, and you don't get this sticker.
I have a raging clue right now. Oh my!
Like literally,
my clue can feel your clue. Oh, I'm gonna blow clue goo everywhere.
Oh, hey, JP, you want to play zombies? Oh, I forgot you have Xbox. Lol.
It's like, meanwhile...
That's what the fuck it's become.
Meanwhile, a pandemic's ravaging the world as
I know, right?
As another couple trillion go to Wall Street, and it's like, I have 2 extra shotguns. I have the leopard skin on my shotgun.
Right.
This comes full circle, man, because this is exactly like Fox News and CNN, Rob, like what you were talking about earlier. Like
it's just company shit.
But people buy into it. I don't fucking get it. I really don't.
Right.
Meanwhile, like you see this, one of the CEOs or like ex-CEOs or Xbox recently was like, console tribalism is tearing this industry apart. Like the reality of it, right? It's like nobody because it does make sense. They're splitting profits between like games that should be sweet and like awesome, especially multiplayer games, are getting fucking destroyed because half, you know what I mean? Because there's this constant civil war of like, no, you can't play with those people. I think that's why Warzone is as popular as it is. Same with like Fortnite and shit, because they're cross-platform, and they did it easily. It's not like it was hard. They were like, yeah, you don't
have to pay extra for it. It was just there.
Not at all. It should be. It's just a feature.
Yeah, it's. I mean, if that's not political parties in a microcosm. And it's like, I'm PS5, I'm Xbox. It's like we both love high resolution, good physics engines video games with great sound design and like multiplayer. You just yours has a P and this one has an X.
When in reality, I think they're just like, oh shit, I hope we can keep them poor enough so they'll never be able to scrape together the money for a PC.
That's exactly what it is. A PC is the elite.
It's the same bullshit tactics too, because they each put out like their own fucking hit pieces on the other, or not necessarily the companies, but like the loyalists do.
Yeah, right. And we'll release this game for that and this game for that. Meanwhile, a PC is like the nuclear bunker. Like, just don't let him into the bunkers.
And he usually gets everything anyways these days. Like, I don't think there's anything that is on PlayStation. There's maybe a few. Because, like, even, like, fucking God of War is on PC. Like, all of these games that are PlayStation exclusive, I think are on PC. So
well,
it's like...
Yeah, that, and you're
matter.
limited. You're limited to the, you know, the games that, like, for Xbox, they tout their backwards compatibility, which, don't get me wrong, is fucking great. Mm-hmm. But, like, they just rolled in EA Plus games with their Game Pass subscription, which I have. And it's like over 200 titles, most of which I probably won't play. But they now with the EA, they have some games in there that I wanted to play. I just looked at them before I hopped on this podcast. But they had Medal of Honor, like the Parajumper one for World War II. And I was like, that's a good game. You know what else is really good? The modern day Medal of Honor is that, like, I can't play. I can only play them on PC if I want to play in there.
Yeah.
Because they're on Steam and they're on sale. Like, last time I checked, they're like $5. Yeah. So like, and even if they were on Xbox, I'd probably pay at least $40 to play them. So.
Yeah, dude, that's what I do. Is I pick up old games on my Xbox, like Just Cause 3, like Far Cry, like they're like $4.
I got The Witcher 3 for like $13.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And it's just like 90-hour game.
Dude, yeah.
Minimum. I still haven't even fucking really...
You could spend 90 hours playing Gwent in that game, dude.
Dude, this keeps happening because, like, what do I do when I don't necessarily... If I'm playing games in the evening, I don't know, sometimes I want to grind just like Modern Warfare. But then, like, I have all this backlog of, like, all this shit. I haven't played it. Like, I forgot where I was at in what the hell's the one? See, I can't even think. Horizon Zero Dawn. I just like stopped playing it. I'm like halfway through. It's gonna be one of those cases where I get back in and I'm like, "Who the fuck's this?" You know what I mean? Who are you? And then like they're like
do you ever hop back
for
on
the story?
Do you ever hop back on a game that, like, a campaign that you stopped like halfway through, and you hop back on? You're like, "Oh, this is so fucking fun! I need to start from the beginning." And then you start from the beginning and you quit at the same spot because you're like bored of it. And it's like, "Oh, this is why I quit initially." Rob, you were glitching in and out of reality again.
Yeah,
my internet's pretty shit right now.
Well, you know what? That's fucking. It's a little offensive.
Can only do what I can do.
Yeah, well, you got that right, bud. I'll tell you.
My communist state-given internet.
This is what you get when you give in to communism. See.
This is what you get when you get the shittiest package from the shittiest company in town.
Who do you guys got up there anyways?
What's that?
Who do you guys got up there for your internet service provider?
We have two companies that run the country. They are called Bell and Rogers.
Bell and Rogers? Okay.
You have one or the other. Even if you have a small company, you still have one or the other.
So they're...
Because you're working off their infrastructure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're just up there, just sucking each other's nipples. They're like, they have to be one of us. You have to choose one of... Yeah, exactly. There's like...
That's like
more South Park references. Yeah.
We don't pay more because, like...
there are no new games for Xbox exclusive? That's too bad.
How bad?
How bad is it? There are no games that use the full PS5 processor?
Or 4 companies for anything, more or less.
Mm-hmm. Should we just like cut out the middle ground and just have all the corporations in the world merge into one, and let's just get rid of the foreplay? Like, let's just finish, just chip us, tag us, put the bad ones, just incinerate us, and let's just get this global fascist state on the road. Let's cut out the middle ground.
I don't know, man. I just keep thinking of like keeping on track with the video game shit. I just keep thinking of Wolfenstein New World, or like, what was it? New Colossus or some shit. I can't remember what it was, but anyway, it's like it's basically modern day if the Nazis won. Mm-hmm. And it's just, again, it's like you said, Tommy, like big mega structures, like Capitol buildings that span like entire cities and whatnot. And it's like, no, I don't fucking want that. Like,
no. It's, you know, what's weird though? It's like in 2000, I thought 2020 was going to be like so nuts. Well, actually, you know what? 2020 has been nuts. So maybe it did come through in the clutch, just not in a good way. Maybe I should have specified it. Maybe I should have specified that. It would have been great. But I now realize that like 2040 is equidistant from now that we are from like 2000. And I'm now realizing like 2040 is not going to be like, I don't know why in my mind I'm just convinced that it's going to be like, I mean, I really have like, I think of 2040 and it's just like, oh, it's the Jetsons. It's just like, you know, it's just like that sound effect, just floating cars and like mile high cities. And I'm like, surely that's what it will be. It's only 20 years away, but surely that's what it will be. We will have outposts on Pluto. We will all be living to 1,000. But it's like, no, it's the same difference between the click wheel iPod and now. It's not a whole lot. Like, it's just going to be like, sure, maybe better bandwidth, but like, nope.
Probably not.
Nope.
Probably not.
You're still going to be hungover.
This and 20 years sadder.
Yeah.
It's just going to cost more and be much shittier.
And you're just gonna be older and achier.
Basically.
But 2060, I'll tell you what, that's where it's going to be. 2060, flying cars are just around the corner. You think that's what it is they just kind of dangle it in front of you as long as they can. And by the time you realize that you've been gamed, you're dead.
Yeah.
It's just,
that's a black pill. That's a
humanity.
huge black pill.
Yeah. But see, I think there's like beauty sometimes in black pills. And it's very, you know, black pill is like it's like a strong drug. It's like, you don't want to overdose. But if you take it just right, I think there can be like optimistic nihilism. It's like nothing matters. It's just dark.
Right. There's two ways to look at it. It's like nothing matters, or like nothing matters.
Exactly,
like,
that's what I mean. It's like nothing matters. The election is up in the air. There's a pandemic. China's getting stronger. I could talk to JP and Rob today. It's just like, fuck it, let's do that.
Yeah.
It's just like, let it burn. Maybe I'll have that millisecond where I see the thermal pulse of a warhead going off, and and then it's just over. But you know, I don't know. Have some chuckles before you go.
I guess maybe that's why like I'm into trying to get together for gaming, because it's like there's no chance that the three of us are going to get together for a beer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Geographically and like I don't know, just all the weird shit that's going on, and like it's not going to happen anytime soon. So it's just a way to like chill out and chat and have an even more R-rated conversation than these are.
Yeah.
That's
why I like gaming, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. Just shooting the shit, man.
Yeah, shooting the shit or shooting all the civilians and just making sure you can beat the game. Just walk.
Psycho.
Just walk up and down the hallways. Just poof, poof, open each bathroom.
I'm not going to act like I didn't go on a fucking mass killing spree in Grand Theft Auto just driving a car down the sidewalk and laughing at the ragdoll physics.
If you take the tank on the boardwalk at the beach, you can just driving like a mile on the beach. You can go from 0 to 4 stars without firing a shot. You can like.
I like getting into fist fights with the meatheads at the like.
Yeah.
See, I want to play DayZ because I just want to like sneak around the cities where I know there's like spawn campers and like fucking knock them out with a sledgehammer, tie them up, strip them of all their shit, and then when they wake up, just like fuck with them. And then like keep knocking them out, drag them with me, leave them in the town square. I said, you do these things. You can like pick them up when they're knocked out, walk them into the middle of the town square, run to the police station, and then like mock them over the loudspeaker. Be like, everybody go like spit on the guy in the town square. All the new people will come and like, go punch him. And you're like hidden, but like you're on like a fucking. Like, it's so funny. Some of this shit I see, like, because there's, like, a police station, and they, like, entered, like, town. And the guys in the police station, like, hey, who's there? And they're like, oh, fuck. Because you can hear it, right? Like it's on the PA or whatever. And they're like, okay, they're in the police station. All right, we're gonna get these motherfuckers. And they're like sneaking up to the police station. And one guy's like walked out into the street, and the guy's like, "What are you doing?" Like over the PA, and he just like waved at the wave motion or whatever. He's like, "Are you friendly?" And he doesn't like speak at all. He's like, wave, keeps walking forward, and then like there's like you can flick them off. Throws a grenade through the window and just fucking books it. What? It's like, hey, wait, no, boom. Says the guy. Everyone in town can hear what's going on.
In Just Cause 3, you can put like the CE4 mines on people,
Yeah.
But they're just like, they were like, hey, watch out.
But they're not real people. They're whatever, like NPCs.
They just
These are real people.
These are.
This is way cooler.
No, my favorite is Just Cause 3 putting a mine on someone, and I'll follow them for like 10 minutes, and I'll just watch them do the NPC thing until they like kind of walk into like a town square, and then it's just like RT, just boom, just blows a cafe out. On that note, let's
Suicide bomb.
On that psychopathic note, if anyone knows of any good games where I can just walk around killing people indiscriminately, you know what I like about Hitman is the bodies don't disappear. They stay there.
That's pretty cool.
Actually, they body bag them. They put them in body bags, so you can find these weird rooms of like hundreds of bags.
That's what you aim for. Yeah, only on Tommy servers. There's just one part of the map, just body bag area.
It's just that's.
I hit all the bodies. Sneak 100.
And I found them.
I hope no one finds these bodies. There's no one to find the body.
I hope no one finds the bodies. Oh, I have a raging clue. I think the bodies are over here. Oh, me too. Godspeed, Hardly Boys.
Hardly Boys.
The Hardly Boys. Godspeed, Hardly Boys. Oh, I've got a raging clue. Oh, your clue's giving me a clue. My clue's so hard. Oh, my clue's pointing me over here. Oh, mine is too. Episode 272 with Rob and JP.
Farewell.
Please, can we do these more frequently? I need these. These episodes give me life because there's no information to mine, and I enjoy it. There's just what I like these conversations is we add no value to the world with these.
Yeah,
I would say we take some away.
I'm okay with that. I think we earned it.
I think,
we've given a lot.
We've given a lot.
Yeah. We've given up.
When people are like, "Are you like guilty that you're on like EI?" I was like, "Why did I pay into it for 20 years if I'm not going to take like, my 20 years of paying into it is somehow like not equal to 6 months of needing it?" No,
hey,
fuck you.
Hey, that's like, hey, I know you paid for your hotel room, but you're really going to take a hot shower? And it's like,
yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
What?
Not only that, dude, I'm going to shave my balls too on that.
Yeah, exactly.
Waste more water.
I'm going to shave my, goddamn right.
I'm not even saying that. I'm being responsible. I equate shaving balls to being like, I will buy that PS4 while I'm on ball. PS5, sorry.
Nothing matters. We die tomorrow, so just buy it.
Nah, but I still.
I bought 5.
Happen, and then rental will come due, and then
I bought.
Canada's cold.
I bought several external hard drives on Black Friday, but
did you?
You know what? They're not sponsoring me, so they can fuck themselves.
I didn't get shit on Black Friday or Cyber Monday. I didn't even look on Cyber Monday. Or Amazon Day, for that matter. I missed that shit, too.
Yeah. Amazon Day sucked. I waited for it. I was like, I'm going to buy a hard drive. And it sucked.
Oh, that's not true. I had $255 left over in my Steam wallet.
Hey,
do not
give them a sponsorship. They are not sponsoring this podcast, so they don't get a free plug.
Some company that does video games.
Some company had $255 of my money, and I didn't want it to just sit there.
Give a shit.
So some roguelike game was like heavily discounted, and I was like, getting it.
Getting it. Mine.
Yeah. Nice. All right. I'm leaving. Bye.
Bye.
I was trying to stay completely still.
I don't even know why I'm still here.
Oh, it's just the two of us.
It's kind of like that awkward moment when you're dating somebody and you're like, you say bye first. No, you go. No, you go.
No, you go. No, you go. No, it's more like the morning after like a sleepover in middle school and like everyone else is left and it's like you should probably call your mom to come pick you up. And it's just like,
so you're trying to get rid of me, is what you're trying
it's
to
like,
say.
should we? And then one friend's like, let's keep playing video games. And it's like, the party, it's over. Like, we did the thing. We played video games. We played Halo.
Right.
We had brownies. We stayed up all night. We did it.
Mm-hmm.
Stop chasing the dragon. And it's like, no, one more rematch, Blood Gulch. And it's like, stop. You're the friend that you're going to get into opium.
Should I be picking up on something or?
No, I'm. Part of me kind of wants to keep this podcast going just because fuck Rob. Just.
No, but I don't want to do that because I respect Rob. So out of respect for Rob.
I don't respect me.
I mean, I don't respect you either, so it makes even more sense for me to leave.
We have come to a crossroads.
No, but I did want to say, yeah, sorry I've been fucking hard to get a hold of, man, lately.
Yeah, you're fine.
A lot of shit going on.
You're fine, dude. 99% of people don't respond to podcast requests. So when anyone does respond, I'm like, oh, cool. So no, because like that is the norm. Like truly, like not even being that's like that is the norm. No one responding to the point.
Yeah,
where
I don't
people,
like being normal though.
Well, you're not normal in my heart.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
You're not normal
Appreciate
in my heart.
I will say, Tommy, I don't know what kind of income you got, but do you have Xbox Live? No, you don't? Oh, well. If you had Xbox Live, you could, well, no, you need Xbox Live. And then you could get a Game Pass, and there's a shit ton of games on there that you could at least look at and see if you're interested. But yeah.
I'm tempted. I think it's a black hole for me.
Yeah, you say that a lot, like you just don't want to get sucked into it.
But that's true. Like by playing like with audiobooks, not even like audio. When I like turn on the volume of a video game, I get sucked in even more because it's like more realistic. By keeping it at like a distance, it's like a game of solitaire or something. It's like it's something to do while I'm listening to a book. But I mean, even just turning on like playing Ace Combat and dropping a bomb and like hearing it explode, but it's like muffled because it's a mile away, and it's just anything that's just like oh wow, it's a little more realistic, or like the tires peeling when I'm fucking speeding on the highway, the cop shooting at me and it like clinking off the anything. It's just like they're all like tendrils that are like it's like Venom, like Spider-Man. There's these little things that are like pulling me in more, and I keep it at a distance, and instead it's like in 1945 Martin Bormann moved money from the S&P to this industry. This was laying up the groundwork for. I'm like, oh yes, of course.
Yes, of course.
I'm like naturally, indubitably, and it's like the Chinese market's growing by over $4 trillion. But if you look at their APR rent, and I'm like, of course. But then I turn it on, and it's like I shoot a window, and it crashes and crumbles, and it's like, and I'm like, oh wow. And then like turn it up a little more, and I like lean in, and I'm like, "Fuck yeah!" It's just like it's like Randy Marsh with the cooking channel. I'm like, "Oh fuck yeah!"
Gonna add a little creme fraiche.
Little creme fraiche. Randy, were you trying to watch the cooking channel? No. Then why did you come and tell me it was blocked? I wasn't, Sharon. Gall.
Are you gonna sear that fucking tenderloin?
Shit, I fucking turn on.
It was a good episode.
Cream fraiche. You need to watch Pandemic Special.
I do. I actually tried watching it, and I tried watching it on their own website because South Park has their
Studios
website and it's all free. But yeah, I tried watching it, and for some reason the episode wouldn't play. So I'm actually going to try that right now after we get it.
It's like $1.99 on YouTube. It's like 40 minutes long, and it's legitimately one of the most hilarious South Parks I've ever seen.
Well, then I'm going to go check and make sure that's working on the South Park website right now. So, South Park Studios. There's your plug.
South Park Studios. This podcast is sponsored by South Park Studios. This podcast is sponsored by Pfizer, as well as GE and Disney. Everything I say is a representation of those companies. I speak for them. All statements are not my own. I'm speaking on behalf of Ford. Well, let's wrap this one up. All right, JP. I'll see you, man.
All right, later, man.
Peace.
Peace.